Let me tell you a story lost to time, a story buried in cold alloy and half-forgotten algorithms, a story of war, of silence, and rebirth. The world is called Bav, a quiet alpine cradle blanketed in snow and clouds, its forests whispering secrets only the wind remembers. But beneath its peaceful surface, something stirred. They were not born. They were made, cloned, grown, and engineered, not for peaceful purposes, but for war. Soldiers, perfected in the image of strategy, resilience, and obedience. Tools, not people. A clone army, forged in a time of galactic desperation. Long ago, an ancient empire, forgotten even by its ruins, faced annihilation at the hands of a terrible intelligence. The Great Crisis, a synthetic scourge, devoured systems with cold precision. And so, the makers crafted their answer. The Obscarn, cloned minds, living ships, designed to win or die trying. But as with all things, the war did come to an end. The great enemy was defeated, and the galaxy took a breath of relief. With that victory came fear. What if these creations turned on their masters? What if the weapons simply kept searching for targets? So they were silenced, shut away, sealed, forgotten, until... a malfunction, a fault in the machines that kept them asleep. Just one single line of code that fell out of place was enough. The Obscarn awoke in darkness, surrounded by decay. Their creators were gone. The biological ships used in the last war were still alive, breathing, waiting, lying dormant and wounded. The Obscarn were pleased that they were not alone. But aside from the ships, there were no orders, no enemy to fight, just a chill on planet Bav and questions. At first, instinct ruled military structure, ranks, and discipline. This was coded into their bones, into their very genetic structures. The first squads that awoke moved with drilled precision, not knowing why, only that they must. Their hands remembered weapons before tools, order before ideas. But the world around them offered no war, only silent ruins. The technology of their creators had long since crumbled into dust. Databanks were corrupted, interfaces sparked and died at a touch. The few remaining machines spoke only in static and silence. What survived was their Shellcraft, organic spaceships, inert and wounded, but alive beneath layers of neglect over an untold number of years. They learned to repair not with manuals, but with intuition, trial and error. Some died, crushed beneath collapsed structures, poisoned by ruptured systems, or lost in failed experiments. But others adapted. They studied the living ships, listened to the rhythms of their breath and pulse, and taught themselves how to heal. With no hierarchy but what habit provided, leadership became fluid. Ideas were debated, not commanded. Differences emerged in thought, in personality. And from that friction, something unexpected grew. Egalitarian ideals, unity, freedom, choice, curiosity, not just for weapons, but for philosophy, for science, for identity. The Obscarn had been created as war-born shells, but now they wanted to be more. They reforged their fleet. Their ships, once only weapons, now lived as companions. They listened to the pulse of their Shellcraft, each vessel a living being, a friend. Together, They all left Bav and returned to the stars, not as soldiers and not as servants, but as explorers. But one question echoes louder than any other across the halls of the Obscarn Ascendancy, louder than any fleet, any engine, any weapon. Who are we?